Greetings, comrades. Okay, this is another little video here that's, it's not reviews or recommendations or anything like that. It's just kind of a talk video, a couple of things. The first thing is I want to give a thank you, a huge thank you to a couple of people for their shout outs. One is Jane over at her channel, Yes Miss Jane, and the other is Janie at the Bookworms Buddy. And I just want to say thank you, both of you. You're so sweet to do the shout-outs and help people get along and help them get their subscriber numbers up and things like that. I don't know that I will ever have a whole lot of subscribers because my reading can be a bit eclectic, and I don't read like a lot of the really popular modern stuff. I don't read fantasy. I don't read YA. I've tried it. YA just has, it's all that teenage angst that I just can't be bothered with. It's just too much. I can't spend time on that. Fantasy I tried to read years ago, but medieval European culture has no interest for me whatsoever. And I've tried to read, like I read one of the good things about those Kindle free samples, I can get them on, you can get, I tried reading the prologue to that whole Game of Thrones thing. Totally uninterested. I downloaded the one for Mistborn, that first one. I read the prologue, I read chapter 1, I was reading chapter 2, and I just really don't care. I know everyone says it's wonderful, but I just don't. It just has no interest for me at all. And I know that the Mistborn thing is not exactly medieval Europe, although it, in a lot of ways it kind of seemed like it was. It still seemed very feudal, even though it was like I guess it's supposed to be kind of maybe more of a Victorian kind of setting. But it just doesn't mean anything to me. It's not a culture that I like. I can do Victorian England, and especially with murder mysteries a little bit. I don't like the 19th century literature at all. I have a hard time reading that. But, so I don't know, my taste, I tend to read a lot of middle grade novels, which not very many people read, and other things that are kind of off the wall sense sometimes, like the Manual of Detection, which I really liked. So anyway, I don't know how many people are going to watch this channel, but if anybody does at all and, they get any enjoyment out of it, that's great. I just like being able to have somebody to talk to about books because I don't really have anybody that I can do that with, so it's fun. And I get, and I learn things. I get recommendations, and I do try things from people that, I hear about and everybody says they're great, so I give them a try, even if they're not in the genre that I like. So, that was one of the things I wanted to say today. And the most important is thank you to Jane at Yes Miss Jane and Janie over at the Bookworms Buddy for those shout outs. The second thing I wanted to say today is actually kind of a favor. I don't know how to, I'm still kind of new at this. I would like to be able to insert pictures over here of books, and I don't know how to do that, and I don't know what software you have. I have a PC. And I've just been using like the Windows Live Movie Maker, and I know you can insert a picture in, stop the video and it inserts a picture in there. And I might end up doing that. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a bunch of editing software for this, but it would be nice to be able to do that if I can. So if anybody's got any recommendations, or of any software programs out there for PC that allows me to do that, that's pretty just like basic stuff, let me know. I'd love to know, because a lot of my books are packed away because I just don't have room for all of them, and so I can't, and I don't like not showing images of books. I hate that. I don't like not seeing images of books when people talk about them, so I like to be able to show them as well. And so if anybody knows of anything like that or whatever you use, let me know. Let me know or recommend. I'd really enjoy that. The second thing is, or the third thing, I guess, at this point, that I wanted to talk about was tags. Now, I've never done a tag, and I probably will never do a tag because, and I may have mentioned this earlier in another video, I can't remember, because my mind just goes blank since I hear the questions. But one thing I hear them and I watch them and they're interesting, but I could never do them. And also, you know, a lot of the times when I have, and it's something I could answer, perhaps, I don't have the book, and I can't show the picture over here because I don't have the software, so I just like don't do it. So, so I don't really do those. You're probably not going to see any of those on here. You're mostly going to see just recommendations, and if there's something that I particularly love, you might see just a review on that book. I started out doing those. I don't really do them anymore. I'm not a professional reviewer or anything like that. I will put my grading system down. I'm going to start putting that down in the description parts because I grade pretty tough, and so I'll explain that down at the bottom. I think I'll start putting that in the descriptions on the videos too. Okay, here's a couple of other things that I've noticed in the book industry lately that I wanted to see if anyone else had noticed and anyone else was bothered by it. Now, I have a friend of mine who's an English major, and she pointed this one out to me. I hadn't really noticed it, but I mean, kind of noticed it, I guess, but not, you know, kind of at that level that's not really quite in your conscious mind. Of how many books there are these days that have titles that have possessive nouns or pronouns or something in them. You know, there's like, you know, the Hangman's Daughter, and there's the Anatomist's Apprentice, and there's, you know, the so-and-so's such and such and whatever. And there's just a ton of them out there now. And I don't ever remember seeing, I hope, that many books that are like they're out there now with that type of, excuse me, with that type of title. It just seems to be like that's all the rage right now, is having some kind of possessive pronoun. It's like, just name it what it is. You know? Why does it have to be somebody else's something? Just name it what it is, you know. There's just tons of them out there, you know. And now, that one doesn't really bother me too much. The next thing that I've noticed a trend out there does bother me. And I don't know if it's because the publishers are cheap or, you know, I tend to be not really all that trusting a person. So I'm probably just kind of looking for something a little bit more nefarious here for the reasons. But if you look, and there are certain books where you're not going to see this. You're not going to see it on cozies. You're not going to see it on thrillers. Probably not on science fiction books much. But there's a tendency out there when doing book covers now to cut off part of a woman's head, you know, by the edge of the book or the top of the book or something. I mean, it's everywhere. Now, I understand that if you show a model's face, you usually have to pay her more money. But, you know, put a different picture on the cover if you're going to do that. It's really disturbing. And I mean, if it was just here and there, I probably would never even have noticed it, but it's everywhere. Especially if you look at literature that, for some reason, is, well, I don't know if it's aimed at women, but written by women, a lot of it that's written by women and stuff, that either be turned away, which is kind of okay, or they've got part of their face. You know, you see this, you know, you see from here over or here down or something like that. And like I said, if it was just a little bit, I probably wouldn't even have noticed, but it's a lot, and I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. But it's a fad, I guess, in current book design that I find a little disturbing. If you don't want to pay the model, then put a different picture on there. You know, don't be so cheap if that's what it is. And if that's not what it is, what the hell's going on with that? And if you go and look and you pick a book, and you go on Amazon and you look and it'll have that, you know, that list down there of like 14 pages of other people who bought whatever. Go and look, and you'll see that almost on every one of them, on a lot of the books, you're going to see that. I mean, you almost can't go by one little group to the next without seeing at least one cover where that's done, at least on the books that I'm looking at. So I know it's not, you know, it's not across the board. It's not all books. I don't see them on cozies. I don't read thrillers, but on the covers that I've looked at, I don't see those. They more likely usually have a swastika or an eagle in black or something like that on them. But anyways, anybody else notice those two trends? I mean, and is anybody else bothered by them? So that's my question. It's not really a tag, it's just curiosity, okay? So those are my questions about covers and titles and trends in books. So that's it, I guess, for this little This, That, and the Other video. Again, thanks to Janie at the Bookworms Buddy and Jane over at Yes Miss Jane, her channel, for their shout outs. I really appreciate it, and I enjoy that you, or I'm grateful and thankful that you watch my channel. So I hope you'll stay tuned. So anyway, because it's a lot of fun doing this booktube stuff, much more so than I ever thought it would be. And I'll probably try and do a few more of these little videos like this that aren't necessarily about a specific book, because sometimes it's fun just to talk about books and the book culture and reading and things like that as well. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you're reading, and happy trails and happy reading. Bye.